What is up guys, it's your boy Success right here, and today we are coming back with a brand new video from the beautiful Philippines. So ladies and gentlemen, into this video I'm gonna be answering a question actually. So there are a few people who messaged me, email me like, Success, I'm planning to come to the Philippines, but my question is, can foreigners actually work in the Philippines? I've answered some of those questions like through emails, text messages and whatever, but I actually wanted to come out here to talk to you guys who are actually planning to come to the Philippines and you cannot reach me. So this video is for all of you guys who are planning to come to the Philippines. So ladies and gentlemen, if you're new here, I'm Success. I do travel videos around the Philippines, and if you want to stay tuned for all of my videos in the Philippines, make sure to smash that subscribe button and stay tuned for my upcoming vlogs, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so every time I post a video you can be notified. So ladies and gentlemen, make sure to smash that subscribe button just before we start, and welcome to the vlog. Let's get started guys. I'm seated right here in Festival, Alabama today. So it's actually in the south of Luzon going to Las Piñas side. It's called Alabama. So I'm just seated in this very cool place right here. So the first thing we're going to talk about today is who can actually come to the Philippines. So ladies and gentlemen, anyone who comes to the Philippines, as long as you have not committed any crime and you are not blacklisted, or you are from a country that is allowed to come to the Philippines. So the first thing to do is to check out your visa requirements to the Philippines. My country, I'm actually visa free to the Philippines, but if I want to stay longer in the Philippines, meaning I need to secure a job or a 9G visa or any residence visa depending on my qualification. So you need to apply to immigration. So before applying for a working visa in the Philippines, you actually need to secure or work. So you need to have this contract sheet and some documents. The requirements are also there, but the basic thing is that you should secure a job. For those of you guys who wants to come to the Philippines, I'm going to tell you about working in the Philippines. First thing you need to know before you even leave your country, you should read the immigration website on who can actually work in the Philippines or what work could you actually do in the Philippines. Here in the Philippines, foreigners are not allowed to do a work that a normal Filipino can do, like working in a grocery store, working in a supermarket, working in a convenience store, in the restaurants. So those work are not for foreigners in the Philippines. So if you're planning to come here to do like restaurant work and stuff like that, this is not the best place for you. So you could probably try like Europe, the US. So you could work there, you could work in restaurant and make money, but not in the Philippines. Like you should have this skill that no Filipino in Philippines can actually do, or that there are not a lot of Filipinos who can actually perform these taxes. So with that, you'll be eligible to have a working visa, because immigration is actually going to do a background research on the company that is hiring you and why are they hiring you, if there are not Filipinos who are actually qualified to do those work. So that's one thing you need to know. So if you're planning to come here to do a specific work, you should have that at the back of your mind, and that you should have a skill that no Filipino in the Philippines can actually perform, can actually do. So with that being said, I'm not saying this to discourage you. There are a lot of foreigners working. So yes, you could actually work, or anyone could actually work in the Philippines. The reason I mentioned the immigration policy is that if you have a skill that Filipinos cannot do here, or no Filipino could perform, then you will have a huge advantage of securing a work in the Philippines. So let's talk about work that foreigners, or some foreigners who lives in the Philippines, are doing. Some people are doing remote work. So first thing is, you could come here and work remotely. For example, you are a digital nomad, or you work for a company that allows you to work from anywhere. So you could travel to the Philippines, experiencing the beautiful beaches, the island life, and you're working remotely. So meaning you are not working within the Philippines. And for most people coming to the Philippines, and you have time to stay in the Philippines for 2 years on a 2 years visa, so you can always extend, but you cannot stay within the country for the 2 years. So sometimes you have to exit the country after every 3 months, sometimes 6 months. So it also depends on which country you're from. So if you came to the Philippines and you are working remotely, so you should also take into consideration to do a proper research on how long you could stay here on the tourist visa, and you need to exit and come back. So you need to do that research. So for those people working remotely, so that's how you could come to the Philippines and you could work. And then for other people, like for those of you who don't have a remote work but you want to work within the Philippines, so now you need to apply to a company. And once the company accepts you, you need to present all of those documents to immigration, plus additional documents of yourself that you need to provide. So there is one work here that a lot of foreigners are actually doing right now in the Philippines, and that is called a BPO. So it's called call center work. So if you come to the Philippines and you want to do a call center work, probably you're from a country like Spain, from Italy, and you speak different language other than English, and you came to the Philippines to work as a call center agent. And a lot of Africans also travel here to do call centers work. If you can speak a foreign language other than English and Tagalog, you will be, you might be selected to do a call center work if you are qualified for the work. There are many Filipinos who also speak foreign languages, but a lot of them don't know how to speak, especially French. So most people from Africa, some countries in Africa actually, they speak French. Not from my country, but so many countries in Africa speak French. And so when these people come here from Africa and they speak French, they have the opportunity to apply for work, and they can be selected and be accepted by immigration to work. So that's one important thing that you should know. First, you should know what work is accepted by immigration. So the visa is actually an important part of your working here in the Philippines, because if you don't have a visa, you don't work in the Philippines. Okay, so once you come here from Spain, you speak Spanish. You come from Italy, you speak Italian. And you come from France, you speak French. Every other country, Colombia, speaks Spanish. So there are a lot of friends I have here who does those work, or they are actually eligible to have a 9G visa, and they can work in the Philippines. So these people can work. But there are also special tax, like there are people like diplomats, there are other people like you could work here as a doctor. I've seen an African who also work here as a teacher. So it just depends actually on your qualification. So to be on the safe side, you should actually take into consideration of the visa processing, because the visa processing is something very important, and you should actually have a skill that is in demand, in the sense that you should have this higher level of education. That could be one case, like you have a master's or PhD in a subject or a course or a particular career or in this field, and you came to the Philippines and they need people to do that. Based on your qualification, they could actually give you visa easily to work. So the most part about working is mostly the visa. So that's one of the hindrance, in working in the Philippines. Now let's talk about the second part of this video, where you don't speak a foreign language and you don't speak you cannot work in a call center easily. So how could you also work in the Philippines? So there is always a way out. So probably you came to the Philippines, or you have your fiancé in the Philippines, and you came to the Philippines on like a marriage stuff. You got married to a Filipino and you are living here in the Philippines. So once you are married and you have the permanent residence, because once you get married, you're going to be entitled to have a residence, which is actually a permanent residence, because you are married to a Filipino citizen. So once you are married to this Filipino citizen and you live in the Philippines, of course, as a man or a lady, you also need to support your home, right? You need to support your family. So with that permanent residence, you could just apply for any work and you could just do it, because you have like a permanent residence and it's a marriage residence. So meaning you are married, you have a family, you need to take care of your family. So once you apply to any company and then they accept you, immigration is not actually going to be looking at if there should be a Filipino or there is a Filipino who is qualified for this work or not, because in that case it's actually different. It's a special case because you are already married. So for those of you guys who have your partners here in the Philippines, you are planning to get married and you are also planning to relocate here with your partners, it's actually going to be easy to have a work based on the visa you have. It's kind of a permanent visa and you can just work using that visa. So that's one good news and one exception for people. And let's talk about people who also moved to the Philippines and you came from a country that is facing war and you are persecuted and you came to the Philippines, you seek political asylum. So there are some people here who lives in the Philippines and they came here and seek political asylum, and the Philippines is also going to give you a permanent document that you can live in the Philippines for as long as you want to, as long as your life is at risk in your country. So you should also prove that. So it's kind of a process you have to go through. You need to prove that to immigration, that when I go back to my country, my life will be at risk and this is going to happen to me. So once you are qualified to have this asylum document, you can go to school. Like, you'll be eligible to go to school here. You can even attend like the public school, according to some of my friends who have been, you know, using the document. Because I had a friend from Syria who was in the Philippines. He had this asylum document. He was, you know, going to school here. And yeah, so these are just ways that you could migrate or you could move to the Philippines and work. And yeah, so I'm not sure if this is actually enough to answer your question, but one good thing I'm going to tell you is that you also got to read more. So you can do your research and go on the internet, read more, and just be, you know, sure of what you are, you know, traveling to the Philippines for before traveling here. So as always, it's your boy Success. And just before we close this video, I just want to tell you guys, or I just want to assure you that coming to the Philippines, anyone could work. So if you are qualified for a work and it is accepted by immigration to allow you to do the work, so you don't have to be afraid, you can work and earn here in the Philippines. So ladies and gentlemen, this is how we come to the end of another video. So as always, it's your boy Success. And if you're new to the channel, just before you go, make sure to smash that subscribe button, and see you guys in the next one. Peace.